based on the success of Barbie, because they leaned so much into going after the female audience, they should make a Star Wars movie for men.
Yeah, right. Well, this is what we've been joking about. See, that was the thing, is that was when I got in an argument with people about Barbie. It was like, why do you have such a problem with this? Like, my problem is this is just going to make the problem worse. I said, because they're not going to learn the right thing. I said, I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for a Masters of the Universe movie where He-Man is the central character, right? Yeah, this is not going to fucking happen.
Where He-Man does manly shit. Anyway,
exactly.
Back to my point was, so The Dark Knight is playing there, and it's been playing for a few weeks. And I went to the Thursday screening, 9:30 p.m. And I walk in and it's packed. Why is this packed? And it's because, well, it's $5, which is fine. Why is a movie that opened 15 years ago packed on a Thursday night at 9:30 p.m.? And there were other screenings all throughout the day. And I look at the audience and it's all kids. And I, of course, in my curmudgeonly, like, fuck, they're all going to talk through the movie. They're going to be, chatting or on their phones, because it's all kids in their teens or early 20s. And movie starts and is absolutely dead silent through the entire film. I mean, obviously, reactions, applause, laughter when appropriate. Couldn't believe it. And I thought to myself, holy shit. This movie opened, The Dark Knight opened in 2008. This audience seeing this movie in a theater has never seen this movie in a theater. They were kids when it came out, were probably too young for it, probably ended up seeing it on video, but captivated on a big screen with the digital laser projection, were riveted. And it brought back my faith in moviegoing, the moviegoing experience, that a bunch of, for me, young people, 20s and teens, are watching this film with an appreciation for it, maybe because they learned about Oppenheimer and how popular Christopher Nolan is, but also watching the film, it made me sad for the current state of the superhero genre, because I would like to think that superhero films would evolve, that this movie that opened in 2008 basically flipped a superhero trope, which is, I have a choice. I can save the world or I can save Mary Jane. And guess what? Spider-Man always wins. He saves the world and Mary Jane. Except here's a case where, presented with a choice, save Harvey Dent, White Knight, DA for Gotham City, or, save the love of his life, Batman loses that. And he loses his childhood friend, romantic sweetheart, the woman that he planned to be with after retiring from being Batman, after inspiring, the people of Gotham to stand up on their own. Like, he didn't win. He loses. And you would think this, and look, that movie owes more to, mafia films and movies like Heat than anything else, rather than
no, but what it had was a strong voice in Nolan, right?
Right. Yeah. 100%.
And the other, and it's funny you bring this up, because this is just news that's just dropping now. This is fresh news. Scorcese has turned up his heat on what he thinks about the superhero genre in general. So it's funny you just mentioned all that.
Good.
Because he says, and this is the same thing that Quentin Tarantino said. He said the problem is it's culture, because it's because they're going to be a generation now that that think movies are only those, meaning superhero films. That's what movies are to them. They already think that. Like, so he's going after him pretty hardcore, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's like, fight back against comic book movie culture by supporting directors like Christopher Nolan. We got to save cinema.
Correct. Look,
there is one challenge with regards to showing all these old films, re-showing them. And I don't think it's as big a issue as it is in the music business, but we now know from streaming that only 10% of the streams at Spotify and Apple are the latest, hottest songs. So, and 60% to 70% are all the old fogey material, which makes it difficult for a new artist to break through, because someone listening to these music streaming channels go, I already have the Rolling Stones. I already have Genesis. I don't need to listen to a band that kind of sounds like Genesis. I have it. I have all the original artists and songs who are better songs, way more charismatic. And if we're going to start showing the classic old movies in the theaters, that might be problematic to independent producers, because people can go, wow, I can just see Nolan's Batmans in the theater. Now, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's just something, I was thinking of as you were talking about it. And part of the things that I think theater won't disappear, because the medium is the message. And no matter how big your television set is in your home, a communal experience with that giant screen is not duplicable.
I've always argued that, and then like this whole thing with Taylor Swift is another great example of that, right? And I mean, I see some people in the audience are going like, well, no, I disagree. No, I understand where you're coming from, but Tarantino said the same thing, and he wasn't wrong either. It's not the kids' fault. It's the studio's fault and the producer's fault. And that's just it. They've been given a constant diet of this shit, right? And Tarantino's right. They wouldn't know what to do with a movie like Taxi Driver if they saw it. Well, right. But they can consume it when it's called Joker. Right. But and then the other thing that Scorsese said in this interview, I don't know exactly where it comes from, but all these quotes are dropping like mad. The other thing that stuck out to me is this is why he left Warner Brothers. So I don't know if you guys will find this interesting or not. He departed Warner Brothers, get it? Because they wanted a franchise. It wasn't about the moral issue of a person living or dying. The studio guys walked out and they were very sad because they just didn't want that movie.
Yeah. Well, and Chris, do you think the theater should be showing Battleship Potemkin?
Well, no, I think that might be a little, I think that you could couch it as a series like they do the Studio Ghibli films. Like you do, like they post actually the dates that different Studio Ghibli films will be playing.
Okay.
Like I'm seeing Owl's Moving Castle tonight.
Yeah, just fantastic film.
Yeah, so I'm going to see it just because, it's in theaters. I'd love to see that.
And those do really well from my understanding, yeah.
They have like once a month. You could, maybe not Battleship Potemkin, but you could say we're going to do a series of Three Stooges movies, and they're going to play on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. On the first Tuesday of every month. You can do that. Like theaters have to get creative. They have to get creative.
I completely agree.
I think they kind of have already, but yeah.
Hollywood is not delivering quality product that consistently performs. So in order for theaters to remain in business, they have to do Studio Ghibli, they've got to do Fathom events, they've got to do fan faves. Study this. You need to look. This was 10 years ago. This was not true. 10 years ago, it was rep theaters and art houses that were doing the retrospective screenings. Now mainstream chain movie theaters are showing.
They have to do that.
Indian films, Spanish language.
No, Chris is right, because there's
Chinese cinema. It's amazing.
There's only been about a handful of movies that have been able to be re-released in theaters and been successful until recent years with COVID and all this stuff. And you're right, Chris. The studios or the theaters are already figuring this out. And this is where I think the studios are starting to get scared. And this is what really scared them with the Taylor Swift situation, right? Because she cut the studios out altogether. She went directly to the theaters, and she's got a hell of a deal with AMC and all this other stuff from what I'm understanding. And that's what's pissing and scaring them right now, pissing them off and scaring them, is because they're not going to get a dime out of this, and it's going to take up all their screens. And this is the reason why they moved up Exorcist. And that's another thing that's going to kill Blumhouse right now, because I don't know if you know about that whole situation, but they spent $400 million just for the rights. And it sounds like they're already about $600 million in just with shooting and all that kind of shit.
600 million?
That's altogether. So you add the 4 that they paid for the rights plus the 200 some they've spent on 2 movies already.
Yeah, and they're in a no-win situation, and they did get pushed out of their date. I mean, they moved a week earlier.
They're going to get destroyed by Taylor Swift,
and they're terrified. And what they should have done is just pushed it, several weeks, not just 1 week ahead, because they're
dropping it on Peacock at the same time. Last I heard.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe they'll get some of their money back, but I looked at it and I'm like, everybody's afraid of this. And not only that, it's very telling. It's really showing that essentially hiring a camera crew to film your concert, you're gonna set a box office record potentially on an opening weekend.
She's gonna beat Michael Jackson. She's gonna beat. I can guarantee you already. She already probably has in box office ticket pre-sales.
I think pre-sales has her over 100 million now. I haven't double checked since the weekend.
And if she has, because then I think she has beat Michael already, because I think his was 109, I think it was. So
yeah, and I think that her opening weekend is going to be well over $125 million.
For those who don't know, the top concert films are like Michael Jackson. This is it was like 109 million or something like that, and then it was like the Justin Bieber one, and then it goes down the line. Taylor Swift's going to knock all those guys off the
one, and it'll run.
No
I mean,
problem.
This is the other thing. There are so many kids that got locked out of seeing her live that are interested in it, and so many, adult kids, women, 50-year-old plus ladies, are going to be like lining up for that. It's going to be Barbie all over again for a concert.
You talk, yeah, repeat viewings. Hell, there's going to be kids who are going to get out of the movie and get right back in line.
If they can get a ticket. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah.
AMC has opened up additional theaters regularly now.
And that's going to piss the studios off more. Yeah.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There, you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe, and join us.